Okay, so that all seems to be all right and there. So, hi everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are joining me on the planet, my name is June Allen. I am a racial trauma therapist and I am the founder of the Yard of Greatness at juneallen.net. So, hello, Beverly. Good morning. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. So today I want to talk to you about how to cherish your black body. I've got a story that I want to talk to you about. Some stuff that's happened to me this week, and I thought I'd just share it. I thought it was just really interesting to be able to do it. But before I get into that, I just want to just do a bit of housekeeping. So, if you're not already aware, I'm actually going to be doing a workshop on the 15th of July, on Saturday, 15th of July in Brixton, and it's called The Art of Receiving. And we are going to be talking about the blocks around receiving as black women, why we find it so difficult to receive. We're going to be talking about shame. We're also going to be talking about money as well. We're going to be talking about abundance, receiving energy, what is it, how to raise your vibration, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, it's going to be really good. It's going to be really interesting. Half day retreat. It's 2 workshops in one. Okay, in half a day. So if you're interested in joining me for that, you can click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. So yeah, so I just wanted to get into the content now. So I had a situation this week, okay, where I actually went to get a pedicure, and I also went to get I wanted to get my hair cut as well, and I went to two places that were nearer to where I live. I normally go to these 2 places in Brixton, okay, which is which is quite far from where I live because I live in North London, but I keep going to these 2 places because I've just really, I really enjoy going there. And I've been going there for quite a long time, and I really enjoy going there. So if I'm in town, I will make the extra trip to go to Brixton to get my hair cut there and to get my beauty stuff done. However, this time round, I just thought, you know what? I'll just go somewhere that's a bit more local to North London. So I went to somewhere in Hackney. Okay, so the actual service itself was good. I had the pedicure and all the rest of it. The service was good. What they actually, in terms of the actual service, in terms of how the pedicure was, they did a nice job. Okay, and it's actually cheaper than where I go in Brixton. However, what I noticed about there, I was the first time I've ever been to this place. I noticed that there was a disconnect. There was a disconnect. It's like they were focused on. She was focused on my feet. She was focused on doing a good job. However, there was no attempt to build a relationship with me. I was the first time I've ever been there. There was no chit chat. There was no interest in who I was as a person. She was just focused on the feet. And I thought this is really interesting. Just kind of listening, just observing what was going on, and it kind of made me think about the disconnection that we have with our black bodies, and how we've been trained to be so disconnected from each other in terms of relationship that we don't even, this woman's touching a part of my body. Okay, she's touching my feet. She's touching my feet. She's massaging it. She's rubbing the crispy bits off the heel. She's doing all of that good stuff. And yet there was a disconnect for her in terms of building a relationship with me as a person. It's like there was a disconnect for her between doing what she needed to do to my feet and actually connecting with me as a person. I don't know if this is making any sense. And I say that to say this. It kind of made me think of it kind of made me think of the reasons why I go to why I like the place in Brixton, and it's because there's conversation. I feel seen when I go to this place in Brixton. And I say that to say this in the sense that for those of you that are running your own business, okay, for those of you that are running your own business, it is important for you to treat your clients, to treat other people like they're human beings. Okay, to treat other people like they're human beings. Your clients are not just there to pay your light bill. Your clients are not just there for you to get a salary or whatever at the end of the month. Your clients are there because you're offering a service, and you need to treat them like people. And the reason why I think no shade to the woman that did my feet, because I was looking at it from a holistic perspective, and it kind of made me think about how, you know, as black people, we're so objectified under the system of racism, under systems of oppression. We're objectified. We're not human. Okay, I've said this before in other live streams. According to living under the system, we're not human beings. So therefore, we often get objectified. We're we're over sexualized. We're supposed to be there to do things, to produce. Okay, so the only time that we're really valued in this society is if we're being over sexualized and we're allowing ourselves to be objects for other people's sexual desires, or, you know, we're there for to produce. Okay, we're there to produce. We're there for productivity. We're there for to make sure that we can fulfill the needs under capitalism. Okay, so that's all we're in under systems of oppression. That's all we're wanted for, to produce or as objects of people's sexual desires. We're not human. We don't have feelings. We don't have thoughts. We're not supposed to have needs. All of that kind of stuff. And I think that because a lot of us have internalized that we don't even see ourselves as worthy of being spoken to or being honored or being seen as human beings. We internalize that, and we think that that's how we should treat ourselves, and that's how we treat each other. We treat each other that way. Because that's what the system tells us who we are. So we end up doing that to each other. And hence the reason why there's all these stereotypes about how, you know, black businesses and stuff like that don't give good customer service. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. We've internalized the fact that we're not worth anything. We don't think we're worth anything to each other. So Beverly's saying it makes sense. I have patronized my hairdressers for over 10 years. They know me. They understand me as a human being. We laugh, we joke as two black women, and I feel really relaxed. I trust her. Boom. That's it. Boom. That is it, Beverly. But it says a lot about a business or a person that doesn't understand that and is not able to actually do that in their business. Because that told me that she's uncomfortable. And the only time she spoke to me actually is when she was asking me to do things on a practical level, like, you know, can you put your foot here, or, you know, can you put the other foot there, or whatever. So she only spoke to me when it's to do with something practical, and she didn't give me any eye contact or anything like that. There was no connection at all. And this is where a lot of black businesses are getting it wrong. And this is why doing this work is important. Because, you know, if you're not doing this work, you're not really going to understand. Or I might have come out of there thinking, oh, that she was really stush. Her face was all pushed up. You know, and I can start to make assumptions about who she is because she wasn't able to connect with me. But obviously, because I'm a therapist and because I was able to observe these things, I was able to really see that this is really about her inability she feels uncomfortable disconnecting with people who she doesn't know. So even though she might be great at what she does in terms of, you know, doing manicures and pedicures, in terms of the actual customer service and the connection with the client, okay, that's where she needs to work. And actually, she's going to lose, well, she's lost business because I won't go back there. Even though it's cheaper. You know, if I can't get a space at the other place where I go to in Brixton, then I might go there. But, you know, as soon as I came out, I thought to myself, okay, now I understand why I go to the place in Brixton. And if you want to know the place, actually, the place is called Amma. I think it's called Amma the Salon, something like that. That's the place in Brixton that I go to. It's absolutely gorgeous. The people that work there are really nice. I always feel really comfortable when I go there. They always play really cool Afro beats and stuff like that. It's really nice. I love that place, Amma the Salon. I'm not going to name the other place because I don't think that really would be fair. And, you know, I don't want to diss them because they did a good job on my feet. But it's just like I want to be somewhere, especially when it comes to my black body. If you're going to be putting your hands on my black body, okay, I want to be treated like a human being. Because what happens is, here's where the trigger is. Okay, here's where the trigger is. The trigger is I was raised in a home that was the same, that had the same sort of thing going on, in the sense that, you know, I didn't get a lot of physical affection when I was growing up, when I was a child. I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel visible. The only time my mum really touched me was when she was doing something practical, okay, like combing my hair or giving me a bath or whatever when I was little. Or the only other time that I was touched is when I was being hit. Okay, the only other time I was being touched is when I was being hit. So I don't understand. I don't have a lot of, when I was growing up, I didn't understand or experience what it meant to be touched and held and cherished. My black body being touched and held and cherished in a way that where I was able to experience love. Okay, I didn't experience affection, so I didn't feel loved because I wasn't held and touched and cherished in a way that made me feel that way. Okay, so Beverly's also saying some places are broke down, and yet I see we as a people still patronize. It makes me reflect. Do we not think that we are worthy, that we allow black businesses to treat us in a way? Self-care. Listen, I 100% agree with that, Beverly, because at the end of the day, there's no excuse for the place being broke down. It can still be clean. It hasn't got to be posh. It hasn't got to be posh, but it needs to be clean. The barbers that I go to in Brixton is not posh. The barbers that I go to in Brixton is not posh. But I choose to go there because the brother that cuts my hair is very respectful. He's very respectful. And he does a good job. We have a little chat or whatever. We talk about politics and stuff sometimes. And, you know, there's little things like, you know, like he'll show me the back of my hair when I finished it. Some of these other barbers that I get, this other barber that I used to go to is another one in Brixton. But it was very, again, I felt objectified when I used to. One time I went in there and I got chatted up by 3 guys. One of them was one of the guy that was doing my hair. I got chatted up by 3 guys when I went in there one time, and I felt so uncomfortable. I was just like, what the backside is this? I'm a customer. They were so thirsty. The thirst levels in there were just off the chart, and I just thought, nah. I felt so uncomfortable. This is really unacceptable. So I don't go in there. The only time I'll go in there to get my hair, because they cut my hair great. The only time I'll go back in there is if my other barber in Brixton that I go to, okay, if he's not available, if he's not in, 9 times out of 10 he's there. But if for some reason, sometimes I'll sit there and wait. Sometimes I don't want to go to the other barbers because I want to feel comfortable, and I don't want to feel like there's going to be some thirsty energy when I'm sitting down having my hair cut. You know, because I'll go to a barber's and there's a lot of men and stuff get in there. You know, so actually just going to the barbers that I go to now, I like going there because, like I said, because I feel comfortable. There's no thirstiness going on in there. I know that he's going to cut my hair well. You know, he's going to show me the back of my hair. He takes his time. He knows what I like. You know, all of that kind of stuff. And again, I feel like a human being when I go to that hairdresser's. I feel like a human being. I feel like a human being when I'm there. And that makes all the difference. So I say all of that for you to really start thinking about the places where you go, where you cherish where you go to get your body groomed, whatever it is, whether it's hair care, or whether it's massage, or whether it's manicure, pedicure, all that kind of stuff. Think about how they treat you as a human being. Okay, do they talk to you? Do they know your name? Are they interested in who you are as a person? Because ultimately, any business that you go to, it is a relationship, especially when it comes to your black body. Okay, it is a relationship. So Beverly's saying the businesses that I reach play to my personal values, and now I know why I patronize. That's the way I want to deliver my service. This conversation is underlining the need to reinforce my values. Absolutely, and this is what I do. This is why what I do works. This is why, you know, when I'm talking about all this stuff in these sort of live streams, you know, I'm talking to you as a human being. I'm talking to you as a person. I'm not just talking to you about therapy. Okay, I'm not just talking to you about therapy and go to my website and buy I'm not just on here selling, saying go and buy a session, that's not what my thing is dominated about. I talk to you about how I can serve. I talk about how I can serve. I add value. I share my own experience. I call your names. I know your names. I'm getting to know you as people. I'm getting to understand what your values are. I build the relationship because I care about what happens to you. And when you get to the point where you're sharing what your troubles are and stuff like that, I will share. I will add value and share how we can work together and work through those things in therapy. And that's how people end up working with me, because they know that I care and I treat people like human beings. I don't just treat my clients just like they're just there to pay my bills, because they're not there. They're there to be served. Clients are there to be served. And this is why it was important for me to share what I've shared about this whole thing, about this beauty thing, especially when it comes to our black bodies. And when you think about how our black bodies have been treated under the system, black bodies have never been respected under this system. Okay? Black bodies have never been respected under this system. So that means that when we choose to go and patronize businesses, whether it's getting our hair done or going to do beauty stuff, go and get our nails done, it's important that we think about how our black bodies are treated when we go to these places. I'm not one of these people that will go and sit down in there's a lot of negative stuff as well around, going to black women's hairdressers and having to, having to sit there for hours and all the rest of it. It's because there needs to be more boundaries. There needs to be more boundaries. Time boundaries. If somebody's half an hour late, they don't get their hair done. I used to be a hairdresser years ago, and these are the type of boundaries that we say. If you're if you're more than 5 or 10 minutes late, you don't get your hair done. It's simple. Because why should somebody else that's coming on time, why should they have to sit down and wait because you've got 3 or 4 clients that were late and made the whole day messed up the whole day, and people end up having to sit in the hairdressers for all this extra time, and you as the hairdresser might be worried about, maybe I'll just let that person sit down or whatever because I need the money. That's not how you build the relationship. You're not respecting your client's time. If the client that's coming doesn't have boundaries around their time and is disrespectful of your time to make you late and your other clients late, and then they kick up stink when you say no, that's their business. That is their business. But for you, in order for you to show up for your clients and maintain the relationship that you have with your clients, you need to show up on time. For the ones that show up on time, you as the hairdresser need to show up on time. And these clients, they shouldn't be kicking up a stink if they're late. That's for them to deal with. You won't see me in these hairdressers that do that. You won't see me in hairdressers that do that. That's absolutely right, Beverly. And the hurtful thing is, they're not going to do that in white spaces. They ain't going to do it in white spaces. They're not going to do it in white spaces. They won't do it. They will show up on time. Because they know if they don't show up on time, they ain't getting their hair done. They're not getting the service that they wanted. So why do they think they should be able to get away with it in black people's spaces? Because we don't have the same sort of boundaries. If you know you're not going to get your service done, you're not going to be late. You're going to show up on time. You're going to show up on time. So we need to have a different set of we need to up our game, okay, in terms of how we serve our clients. If I mean, it's very, I don't think I've ever been late for any of my clients, actually. Maybe once or twice since I've been doing this. In the 8 years I've been doing this, I've maybe been late, not for my clients, but for my mastermind group. And I think maybe it was a traveling thing. I remember one time I think I had to inbox them and I said I was going to be a bit late. But that's the only time in 8 years I've been doing this I've been late. I've never been late for any of my private clients and my one-to-one clients. Never. Because that is a part that is an important part of building the relationship. That's an important part of building the relationship. Okay, so when it comes to your body and nourishing your body and cherishing your body, don't let other people dictate how you're going to be treated. You put the boundaries in place. You put the boundaries in place for your body. I know one of my needs is I need to feel like a human being. If anybody's touching my body, okay, and I'm going to have a beauty treatment, I need to feel like I'm a human being. I need to have conversation. I need to catch joke. I need to feel comfortable. The place in Brixton that I go to, they'll even make me a herb tea if I want one. They'll make me a herb tea if I want one. All these little things, and even though it's more expensive than the place that I went to in Hackney, I will be going back to the place in Brixton because I feel more comfortable there. They know my name. I go in there. They'll talk to me. They'll talk to me like a human being. You know, so it's so important for us to really think about these things when it comes to your body. You know, it's about understanding these things about how your body's been treated. Did you get affection and stuff when you were growing up as a child? You know, is it, are you like me in the sense that, the only time that you were really touched, was when your mum was doing something practical, or when it was being abused. So it's either abuse or practicality. My body didn't understand anything else. It's only since doing this work that I've really had to think about, okay, if I want somebody to, if I'm going to allow someone to touch my body, especially if I'm starting to have massages and all of that kind of stuff, I also have to think about my trauma. I have to be kind to myself. How is my body going to react? And I've actually had conversations with some massage therapists about, saying to them, look, I might, there's a possibility that I might actually cry when you're doing my massage. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because it might actually bring up trauma. It's important for me to be with a massage therapist that's trauma informed. It's important for me to be with a massage therapist that's trauma informed. So all of these little things are ways that are important for me to cherish my body. Okay, it's about listening to my body. I'm not just going to drag my body around to any and anybody. An important part of loving myself is listening to my body and understanding what my body is trying to tell me. And, this under the system wants us to just kind of always override the body. Whatever the body's going through, push through, work harder. If your body's in pain, you have to keep going. That's what the system wants us to do. It's all hustle culture. It's all overriding and betraying ourselves and what our body actually wants. When quite often our body just wants to rest. Our body needs to speak. Our body needs to be able to say. And this is why, again, having your sacred sister time, having your solitude time is so important, so that you can start to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. You need to listen to what your body is trying to tell you and really be honest about how your body feels and not overriding it. And sometimes that can be quite painful to do that. But it's an important part of this work so that you can start to build a different, more loving, more compassionate relationship with your body. And that takes time. That really does take time. I think I might do another one. I'm gonna have to go in a minute because I've got a meeting with my sponsor in a minute. But there was an email that came in about hair trauma. Okay, about hair trauma, and that's a whole nother conversation. Okay, about hair trauma and about how our the trauma and the pain that we experience around our hair. Is a huge thing for black women. It's a huge thing. And we find it difficult to accept the hair that grows out of our head because of the abuse and stuff that we've experienced around our hair. Again, this whole body thing, it's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. And it's important to have these conversations so that we can not just kind of, just shut it out or just think, oh, you're being silly or whatever. These are important. These are crucial conversations that will add to how we feel about ourselves, how we treat ourselves, how we allow other people to treat us. Because if we have a different relationship with our body, with our hair, okay, with our feet, with our hands, with our face, in its natural state, then it's going to have an impact on how we allow others to talk to us or treat us about and tell us what we can and can't do with our hair. Because there's too many people out here thinking they can talk to us any kind of way. But it's because we've been taught that our black bodies are not valuable and that our black bodies are not worthy of being cherished. That's why we do that. We do it to ourselves because that's what we've been taught. Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave it there for today because again I've got a meeting with my sponsor. But I'll probably continue this conversation tomorrow actually because there's some other things that I can talk about. You know, specifically around the hair stuff. All right. So have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow. Again, if you've got any questions or anything, please email me, DM me. Info@yardofgreatness.com. If you want to come to the workshop, The Art of Receiving, on the 15th of July in Brixton, click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.